I'm good. Uh,
Are you?
You guys can say something.
all right.
So,
Not much. I mean, I just took a fat nap, so I'm kind of in the
Yeah.
same boat as you, Remy.
I'm pretty sure everyone here is just straight up like, just was not awake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways,
This
with
whole
that
this
being
whole
said-
virus thing got my sleep situation it's not doing well for itself.
with that being said,
Yeah.
we were originally supposed to do this on Thursday, but a lot of stuff has been happening in the community, a lot of stuff, and outside of that, for my own personal reasons, I also was probably not as available as I should be for that stream. So we just decided to move it to Sunday. No harm done. The episode is still going on. And with that being said, this is Brawlhalla R&D Podcast Episode 3 featuring Phazon. I am one of your hosts, Diakou. With me, I have the lovely Remmy here. Remmy, what are we talking about today?
You already know what we're talking about. We got big things going on in the scene as always. We got kind of a small thing, but I mean it's not really relevant to me because I'll win no matter who's in my way. But we got Sandstorm teaming with Ethan, so that's gonna do a lot of things for the 2 scene. As we can already see that the 2 scene is kind of popping. With our recent tournament, we finally see Phazon and Cody take home their first trophy. How you feeling about that, Vinny?
Good. I mean, it's weird because I knew, being honest, like Boomie Sandstorm, I knew were the only team that and you and Remy, since you guys especially were a newer team, were the only 2 teams that I felt like were really threats. Just because Boomie, I actually realized, like, past 2 years, that guy in 1v1s and 2v2s has, like, locked me out of so many wins and just so many, like, grand finals. It's actually insane. So, once they lost, it was like, they definitely weren't in form. And every tournament me and Cody have played them in, we've beaten them, but then they end up like coming back, or they make the run back and then they beat us. So especially like at that time, if we were to even see them, I think in what was that, Summers, then I think we would have ended up beating them because they were definitely, both of them just looked like, I know how demotivated they've been to play. So I don't think that it would have been, if honestly, Either and Lilcap, they're not in form either. So if that
What
team's
even
like
is form anymore?
yeah, no one really is. I mean, and that just goes to a bigger thing where I think just like the teams and the people who are actually like practicing and putting in time are seeing placements. I mean, Cody, I feel like is a pretty good representation of that. Now, to be fair, like the meta changes and stuff actually are benefiting him. I mean, we've seen that in the past with other players, but yeah, I mean, that guy plays Brawl so much, and he's doing really, really good now.
I mean,
I think it
ignoring the
definitely
meta,
contributes.
even I feel like
Yeah.
it's just the thing is he was getting better. Meta slightly favored it into his like position, but still, it was just a combination of him just getting so much better and better with time. It's weird.
Right.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
Guys,
it
went
definitely
on.
was weird.
Guy was already a truck and they just built him a brand new road to drive on, so can't really stop him anymore.
Alright, just call him Sparky at this point.
Yeah.
Analogies. Anyways, I think it's a bit interesting though that with Boomie's current break, not like completely like quitting. I don't know why people keep saying he's quitting. He specifically said he's taking a break from competitive. That doesn't mean he's not gonna play Brawlhalla. With that being said, Ethan and Sandstorm. This is really interesting to me, and the reason why is because Ethan was the better 2v2 player when they first teamed around. Sandstorm honestly just didn't play 2v2 whatsoever. He didn't enjoy it either, it seemed like. But, and they didn't do it bad. I mean, they got third at BCX, the tournament, the most important tournament, right? And that was actually a tournament where Sandstorm kind of got incredibly good at 2v2 for that tournament, which is interesting. Moving on from there, Sandstorm and Boomie just decided to team. Sandstorm became a million times better with Boomie's lead, like boomie being able to lead him and like essentially kind of not teach him, but make it easier for him to be enabled in 2v2 and start understanding how he should be playing 2v2. And they just won everything. Like unquestionably, it's pretty much just won almost everything.
Yep, it
with
did
like
not
1 or
look
2 losses.
did not look good for NA when they started up. I think they started up with kind of a big lead because Boomie's Boomie and every other team kind of just was waking
Right.
up. Even me and Vinny last year, we decided that we were going to team, and it was already somewhat close to winters. They definitely had more time, so I can understand like their complete overhaul. I mean, they did start looking weaker as the year went on, but they never started looking like they weren't the best. If we're going to be completely honest with ourselves here,
Right.
So I definitely see that. But it's interesting you say that Ethan looked like the better twos player than Sandstorm. I felt like they both had their moments. I think they played very well together, and they really showed like the initially of what
Well-
Scythe could do in twos.
Well, I coached him briefly. It was like 1 month before BCX. And I was mostly coaching Ethan, but there was 1 or 2 sessions when I was playing when Sandstorm was also there, for 2 specifically. And at the time, at least, it was clear to me that Ethan had a better understanding of how he should be playing 2v2 than Sandstorm. Because Sandstorm was still doing a lot of 1v1 shenanigans in 2v2, which sometimes just doesn't work out as you'd want it to.
Yeah, I can
You
get
have
that.
to have more focus on survivability, have more focus on how to actually get in without being useless. Because a lot of times, certain players, if they're trying to like get into someone else by doing 1v1 style, you might be useless for a bit, and your teammates are just gonna get bodied.
I think it's important to also mention that that third possibly was a result of the fact that Ethan's controller literally cost them
Yeah.
like at least 2 games. I'm pretty sure, right? Like
I
they
thought it
had
was
a
like the entire
decent
set.
shot at like getting to grands and possibly winning. Obviously, did
Yeah,
that
I mean,
happen maybe in some alternate universe? But
Yeah, at BCX, I'd have to agree. Though it was weird though, because before BCX, Ethan was, in my opinion, way better. But as we all know, it was like LDZ buff. Sandstorm just got crazy. Same way happened with LDZ in 2016. He wasn't that good in 2v2. He just was decent. But
yeah,
as
I mean,
BCX rolled up,
yeah.
and he just like straight up, bodied everyone. He became crazy. It was I think LDZ was probably the best 2v2 player in BCX 2016.
yeah,
He didn't win, but he
yeah,
was the best 2v2 player. So. I think Sandstorm kind of had somewhat the same case. He wasn't the best 2v2 player to at BCX. Take was, but he what ended up happening is that Sandstorm really started he was getting so many scythe games in 2v2 at BCX. It was ridiculous. Like he really managed to carry a lot of those harder scenarios that they had. So, but Ethan's mental is sucks to say that it actually seemed like Ethan's mental / controller just actually cost him that possible BCX finish.
yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because it kind of made me want to go into that a little more. Like, I think Sandstorm, like mental game wise, when he's like tuned in, he's fantastic. I mean, it's really hard to stop him from what he's like doing. Ethan, though, I don't know how Sandstorm will be able to rein that in because I feel like if Ethan, I mean, we saw it last tournament when I feel like when Ethan and Noel got reverse 3-0'd by Remmy and Izzy, it was. Like I could just feel like Ethan just like exploding in his mind and just like slowly like losing it on what to do and like just like carrying it all of how he could like fix his situation.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Sandstorm has a way of like making sure that doesn't happen. In all honesty, Sandstorm is a better 2v2 player than Noel, so maybe that will help Ethan to some extent. Just the fact that he has a better teammate being real. But yeah.
I mean, I can say that Ethan's definitely gotten better with how he reacts to matches like that and how he lets them affect him. He's still not the best at it. If in the real world, obviously, you want nothing to affect you like that, but you could still like tell that as soon as he lost that game 3 that it was going to be a kind of like go through with the set, and it kind of was when you look at it, so...
I feel like one thing about Ethan Sandstorm now, though, if we're gonna move forward, it's that one, Sandstorm now is at least a way better 2v2 player. Obviously, that's important. 2, Ethan's mental, as we said, has actually gotten way better. There's still certain aspects, but honestly, every Brawl player have their own like mental devils. Like someone doesn't matter who you are, someone we always have something that cracks us. and Ethan like lessened it to like that's something instead of everything.
Right.
So that helps a lot, and I think one thing that's really interesting now though with them teaming up is the fact that Ethan has this ego where he kind of feels like every teammate that he's had ever since he lost Sandstorm, he's better than them with time, or that they're not as good, so he gets frustrated as they do stuff. He tries to blame himself as much as he can, obviously, but he's still I feel like there's like slightly back foot thing where he like kind of feels like, damn, if my teammate was boomie, or like if my teammate was like he has this like back thought that it would work. What he's doing is correct. It's just that his teammate isn't good enough in certain portions. I don't want to put too much words into his mouth, obviously.
Yeah.
But when he has someone with Sandstorm now, that he essentially knows has won multiple tournaments in 2v2 now, he knows he's pretty good at 2v2.
Yeah.
Will that really help Ethan to focus on just get better? Let's both get better. Just get better.
Is it really blaming your teammate anymore when you're in a position with a 2v2 world champion, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
And
you don't have that excuse.
Yeah, and that helps mentally though. Like,
Mhm.
like as an example, when I teamed with boomie for summer 2018, I always go through strategy and like what I want to do, like just the ground basic fundamentals, just like just before you do a match. It's not going too deep into it, just like certain things like, oh,
you know?
if I'm deep orange, I might just like start sharking a lot, blah blah. I want to just say that, right?
Yeah, player habits.
Boomie
stuff
straight
like
up just
that.
told me, just shut up and play. It was actually hilarious. Like he straight up actually just told me just shut up and play. And when he said that, I didn't argue it. I've argued that against, if anyone else would have said that, I would argue it. But I know that if he says that, sure, I'll believe him. I don't have to go at him because I know this guy wants to win. So if he says that, there's obviously that he believes we can win. We don't need to do that shit.
Yep.
And then I'm like, we can go with that. And that's like kind of the same case here, where now that you have a teammate that is a lot better, it really helps you aspire to like ignore everything around it and just focus on how do we win, can we win, blah blah. Nothing else matters. You just start really focusing on improving. So I'm actually really curious to see what happens there. But at the same time, I can also see that if they get like outside of top 8 for their first tournament, oh boy.
I don't see it happening, honestly. Like with
I know, but if it
insane.
happens though,
yeah, obviously if it happens,
really,
what the?
That would really mess up progress, in my opinion, if that actually happened.
I'd alter for the game for them.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I actually talked with Cody about like, okay, seeding's supposed to come out this week, or is it the week after?
Isn't it like the day
Not
before?
seeding, my bad. Power ranks.
Oh,
Power
yeah.
ranks.
Power ranks. This should be this week.
Okay. Well,
seeding
because that'll
might
allow
actually
it
change though.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's aggressive. You know how aggressive it is. So it's like 2-3 weeks till LTC. So it's not gonna. Seeding might change.
Okay.
Seeding isn't the same as PR. So yeah, we actually don't get to see seeding. We only get to see PR.
Well, I was just talking with him on the idea was, there's obviously a chance me and Cody could end up seeing, like, there's gonna be, it doesn't need to be me and Cody, but some team is gonna, like, some team that, like, a top 3 team, there's a strong possibility that, like, in quarters or something, they're gonna end up having to play Ethan Sandstorm now because of seeding and how it's affected them, and it's gonna be very interesting.
Didn't me and Izzy end up playing you guys like super early on in summer?
Yeah.
No, combo breaker because of just the seeding. So could definitely happen again with Ethan Sandstorm. Then talking about that, we should also speak on how do we think they fare into all the other teams that are out right now, like me and Isidru. We have you two, of course. We don't know who Noel is teaming with, which is another kind of thing that happens in this.
Wilson, I think.
Oh yeah. He
Wilson,
mentioned it was Wilson, so we can look it out.
I'm curious. I want to see that. I just want to see it for curiosity's sake. That was
actually I was gonna say no disrespect to Wilson, but honestly, how can I not disrespect him? But it's like Noel was offered to team with Pugsy at one point, right? So, because Pugsy and Days are apparently no longer a thing, but he went with Wilson. But we also just watched Wilson kill his teammate and then jump off the map in the last tournament. So what's really the mental choice there? He end-sig Blood Diamond.
Pugsy and Wilson. The thing is, Wilson can be a freak in 2v2. The only downside in Wilson is literally just probably edge guarding and like offstage gameplay. But that's like, look at Costlix, you know what I mean? Or like newer Costlix.
Newer Costlix just doesn't go offstage. But we're talking about bottom of the map, end-sig your teammate, go to the other side, die.
But there also on the past there was a time where Wilson really just 600 damage every game, no matter, didn't matter what.
Yeah,
every
I
game,
remember.
really,
I
really
remember
good.
Wilson's teaming with Stevenator. The thing when you have someone like that and a team like that, it's always like literally a coin flip of the game. Like when me and Vinny played them at I think it was DreamHack Dallas, we actually
Yeah.
had a really close set, and the set was really close till Wilson just jumped off, and that's the only way I could
Yeah.
put that. And
I think that was another case of like a controller like malfunctioning. Like they actually could have. There's a strong chance that without that happening, they possibly would have beaten us. But I don't even remember what happened to them later on in the bracket when they dropped down to losers. I think they got top eight still. I don't know where they ended
Wilson
up.
and Steve.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Dallas.
did. No, they got
Okay.
they got fourth because me and Dobrin got fifth, and we lost to
Alright.
we lost to Wilson and Steve, so they got fourth, I think. But I mean, moving from that, what essentially, I think for now until we see more, I think Ethan and Sandstorm will be like a Simba Santi-esque team, level wise. They could be terrifying, but at the same time, there's this weird shit that happens during tournament, where like they're just not what they should be. The thing is, newer days, it seems like Simba and Santi really got through their problems.
Yeah.
Now they're actually performing a lot better, as they should, in tournament, that is. So I just think I personally believe that Ethan and Sandstorm is going to be like a Simba Santi-esque team.
Yeah.
In the like demographic of NA2v2. I don't know what you guys' thoughts about that, or how they would fare.
I don't need. Here's
mean,
the thing.
I think
You can go.
I think Simba Santi are obviously like just mechanically such a good team, and then they also have the limitation of that they play 4 weapons and none of them kill. So I mean, they must be good, right? If they're doing that in this meta. So seeing as Ethan comes in with he's got the Wushang, he's got Hattori, he's got Bryn. Those are 3 picks for Ethan that you know he has in his pocket.
Yeah.
We've seen him play Boulevard, but he doesn't really like to do it. So I wouldn't like force him on or say, oh, he's also here with Boulevard. And then you've got Sandstorm, he's got Zal, he's got Mordex, and we've also seen him pull out like a bunch of crazy shit in ones this year with the Cassidy and whatnot. But his picks have mainly been Zal and Mordex and 2s. Pairing that with all of the things Ethan has, and obviously
Shine could be disgusting when I think about it, actually.
Yeah.
yeah, and obviously they
That'd
could
be
literally
really-
like pull out anything, and I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah.
as long as they practice it. So, not gonna limit them to any comp or anything, but they could definitely find something scary to work with there. Putting them in like with the rest of the 2v2 teams, I liked what you said where you look at them like a Simba Santi thing, but honestly, I could also just see them kind of doing their own thing, and in terms of like skill, I think they could at obviously like they should be beating a lot of people. Like Simba Santi should have been beating a lot of people last year, but they weren't. And I'm gonna say the same thing here, where it's like, I don't really see them losing to a lot of teams out right now. And honestly, just giving both these players a lot of respect for them, you know, just like if they had it available to them, I could see them with all the current teams that are active right now. I could see them winning. It'd be a lot of work, like I said, but it's definitely a possibility.
Well, what better tournament than LTC, the mid-season championship? I mean,
Okay, not this
It just
one.
comes
Not
down to-
maybe the next one, not this one.
It just comes down to like if they're actually gonna put in the time, because
Right.
I feel like I
That's
rarely
another
see either of them
Mm.
log on, and it's just like
Yeah.
it seriously. That's such a big part of it. It just shows, like through some, especially in doubles. I mean, if you literally log on, play with your teammate, figure some things out, like, okay, you're gonna be a top 8 team in current
yeah, for sure.
yeah,
I never like, at least old times, yeah, it was different, but I never got the argument of like we don't have to practice 2v2, do is chaotic, whatever. It's just like, dude, if you just figure out certain parts, like, oh, you figure out like a good 0 to death in a 2v1 scenario, or you figure out, like, literally, it would make the biggest difference for your actual tournament performance. Like, because those scenarios, so especially like, how many times have you looked at Ethan and Noel in like a 2v1 scenario and they just straight up int it? Like, you
Yeah.
know, that's
same with
it's-
like Syringe. Yeah, that's where I
Right.
see it more. It's just if they had something solid worked out, yeah, you're right. It would.
or just like know who
Always
should go
make the
first, how they should play it out. It's not even just
Mm-hmm.
combos. Sometimes teams just don't understand how they should even play it out. Like you have both of them either going in at the same time, and then they like okay, you know what? Never mind. Let me just 1v1 him by myself. But that doesn't work either, because like what if he just goes for the other guy and now you're confused because you just made the rule that okay, we're 1v1ing him. It's like no, that doesn't work either. So like not figuring out that aspect either is problematic. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I have more thoughts on like Sandstorm's new teammate Ethan, and honestly just the 2v2. I don't know what you guys feel, or if there's any last statements you guys have about it.
I don't know. 2v2 is always weird, especially when things start moving around. And this year we didn't have like a lot of moving around. I feel like last year was kind of like a big
Yeah.
statement for moving around. This year kind of just like everyone who was on a team just kind of stuck to it. And like me and Vinny broke up a bit later in the year, but it didn't really shake that much up, honestly. Not because we didn't really like take teammates that had like solid teammates anyway. So
We just swapped.
yeah, at this point,
Yeah.
at this point we just swapped. So it was just like everything just kind of fit into itself. But this is
Yeah, it's
actually
weird.
yeah, this is actually a thing that moves a lot of people. Boomie's not here. Sandstorms with Ethan. Noel is now with Wilson, and
Pugsy's
knowing
from I don't know who. I have no idea who he's going for, but
yeah, Pugsy's not with Days, and so Pugsy could be with anyone. Days is we showed that he was pretty good at twos, so he could go with someone now. And then
parallel days. Huh?
maybe if I see Double Thor again, I'm not going to enjoy myself. Looking at it though, what's it called? Just a lot of stuff could happen, especially when you look at the fact that Noel exists as Noel and could always just like we've seen him move around a lot in the past. Now we've got Noel, and who's to say he doesn't end up teaming with me? Who's to say he doesn't end up teaming with Blood Diamond? Just a bunch of stuff that could happen with Noel being able to move around. But then again, Noel's pretty loyal, and Noel is definitely a person that goes, okay, I'm losing, let's fix it, rather than drop a teammate. So I could see him teaming with Wilson until it
unless it's like super problematic issues, like the guy
hates
has a criminal
Brawlhalla,
record,
or
like
just something
quit,
that can't
like,
something you can't work
like,
with. I can tell from like teaming with him personally that unless it's something he can't work with at all, then he's gonna try to fix it rather than switch up. So respect to Noel for that. And
crazy how he does that, because I would never. But
if we're not winning, I'm done with you.
Anyways, yeah, it's pretty much that when it comes to that. Only thing about actually moving around, interesting how NA like really moved around well. It's kind of weird. Everyone just gets a new teammate, and the new teammate is actually pretty decent. Like the Lil Cap, Idol thing that happened, and then they perform the Phazon into Cody Chavez, and then they perform the U into Isidru, and you're performing like it's weird how the swaps are actually working out pretty well. I'd like to say at least. But in EU, a lot of teams are swapping around, and they're either working out or they aren't. There's no like middle ground, and the other problem is just that the only reason why EU is swapping around a good amount right now is just because no one can figure out how to beat Blaze and Acno, and everyone seems to think the right way is just to swap teams. So that's why the swaps are actually happening. But I don't think the swaps are gonna be what wins against Blaze and Acno. What wins against Blaze and Acno is a 2v2 team just getting better together. But they need to first need to just find someone that fits. But certain teams shouldn't have swapped around. They should have stayed. I don't think Viper and I feel like Viper and Cave would have been a good team, but they just gave up too early. As an example.
Really? I didn't even know they were a team. To be
They
honest.
were a team, but they just gave up because they got like 7th or something like that, and that wasn't enough. So
yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't know how many people in EU are actually like ones to in general, like at top level. I don't know how many people are actually like studying their opponents and stuff. But
No
I'm
one is.
gonna like
no.
if they did that, I mean, it's like they're not even trying. So
Well,
it's just like
the fun about it, they're not even trying, but at the same time, you too, the gameplay, it's kind of like getting really solid, dude. Not in like combos or stuff like that, but the fundamental playstyle is so hard to play. Like, dude, they avoid trying to die like a plague. Like they're just, it's weird. Like I'm watching NA, I'm like, wow, dude, a new player wouldn't die here. I just don't see them dying here. But it's like NA just cares a little bit less.
I feel like NA has flipped it and they've just started killing themselves to get to stage faster at this point, honestly.
Yeah, that too. EU doesn't like. EU is still stuck on the aspect of saving each other and whatnot. Obviously, it's the very different case of the deep red, and then like your teammate is now on his last stock. If you die during that, or you get knocked away really far during that, and now they can get comboed. Yes, that one is a weird. That meta progression is a bit interesting. So.
Yeah, that thing is like hard to understand when you should and shouldn't do it, and
yeah,
I just find myself like being selfish a lot of the time and just not jumping off.
Right. So, anyways, we will go on. We will move on. That was the topic of Sandstorm's new teammate, which is now Ethan.
Mm.
We were going to the craziest part and probably the biggest portion of this entire stream. What happened? Why do we have a Greatsword that does that's like 3 times Scythe?
I don't know.
Yeah.
These people just do whatever they want at this point. Honestly, it looks kind of fucking sick, so I can't even play.
I mean, it looks amazing. It's crazy. It feels like genuinely a depthful Brawlhalla weapon, and you'd never
Yeah.
think Brawlhalla would get that much depth. But wow.
It's just kind of like what the fuck even? What you think? I play Brawlhalla. You think I have the brain cells to actually deal with the 12 grounded move kit? Like, what do you think this is? I'm not here for all this. Well, honestly,
Yeah.
like I said, it's kind of fucking sick. So.
Yeah, I mean, I made a joke post about Jalen's stats, and I put double sword to be like an indicator that, you know, oh, like guys, this isn't actually it. If people couldn't tell by like the crappy Photoshop, and turns out it is double sword. So, you know,
Pretty much.
that yeah, I was like, oh wow, they're actually doing that. But I do think Derailed. I think he mentioned this. He said that the reason behind it was he wants people they did the double sword legend because he wants people to realize this isn't just like sword but bigger. It's not like the exact same thing. It's like completely.
That's a good
He
way.
wants to separate it. Like
That's
yeah,
a really good way of
completely
actually doing it.
Yeah.
Especially because then people will always the first legend that they're actually messing with is a legend that allegedly has double sword, but then you play it and you're like, okay, never mind, and you're forced to play sword while they're playing Greatsword, and then you're just like, okay, yep, never mind, this is not double, it's not even close. Like it doesn't-
Yeah, like you look at it and you're like, oh, it's sword, but it really just is not. And the stuff is, I don't know, it's weird when you look at it because it's like, okay, it just opens up so many possibilities where, and we already knew they could do anything they want with the weapon when we saw Cannon have 10 close range attacks and no long range attacks, but it really opens up
Right.
to like that theory of like, okay, they can literally name any weapon anything and then they can just make it do whatever they want, and it's like, what are you gonna do about it? Because now you have like a sword that's also a string weapon, that's also kind of a heavy weapon, and it just does so
Yeah.
much. And then it also
So-
opens up like what creativity it is, because you looked at Scythe and it's like, okay, Scythe can switch directions. Orb didn't really have anything like that. Orb was more straightforward and just played around good movement and angles.
wall bounce.
Yeah, okay, wall bounce, but like Bo had that and they removed it, so cool.
Yeah.
But now you have Greatsword, and I can't even fucking describe what this shit does, but they decided it's a 16 light attacks or how many it has. I think it's 3 of each grounded attack, but yeah.
So I'm not because actually, even though I've tried to study up on it a good amount, and Exub's video, actually, I'd like to link it in chat for everyone, because I think Exub's video was actually really
So
well
good.
done on Greatsword. 6 minutes, and he actually pretty much goes through it, almost everything.
Yep.
I think I don't remember what. Oh, you already linked it.
I had it in here, but it's in chat now.
Yeah. Okay. So his video was actually really well done, explanatory wise. If you want to go see it, it's called Everything About the New Weapon Greatsword in 6 minutes or less. So you should take a look at that. But I'm gonna try and explain it because I might be wrong about certain things, because a lot of it is also just trying to understand it without playing it, which is complicated sometimes. But one thing is that it has different gravity cancels than what other weapons just have the grounded form as a gravity cancel. That's not the case for Greatsword. Greatsword goes into closer if you gravity cancel some of the moves. Don't remember which ones it is. But Downlight as an example, if you gravity cancel Downlight, it goes into the closer, aka the Ender version of it. That alone opens up even more strength potential, because now you could just during a Greatsword string, you can go for a gravity cancel for a closer to just reset. If they're early damage, because closers send them far. If they're really early damage, you can do a 2-hit and then go into gravity cancel closer that you feel is better, which kind of is counterintuitive because you can go into a closer without gravity canceling, but there's probably some other weird weird string that would come from it because of you doing it through a gravity cancel. Another thing is if you start out with a gravity cancel and then go into the grounded moves, you could probably get a different maybe a true combo or something even, or a string because of how that functions. And then outside of that, they also made it work differently with how dash is affected. They also made it work differently with how chase dodge is affected.
I really think they put a lot of time into the weapon. It definitely looks like they have. So I think I feel like it's one of those weapons where you look at it and it's like, you can't just look at it. I said you could look at it, but you really just can't just look at it, like, because
Right.
it looks like a weapon where you need to know what is true and stuff like that, because everything, obviously what the devs are doing, and you can see what the moves do from that, but you can't tell at all what's like goes into what's true yet, and is anything true. So
I don't. Yeah. So it looked like. One thing is that apparently the weapon has a lot of star frames on like at least air moves and stuff, so it's heavy to swing around. But another aspect is that the drift of the weapon is actually crazy, so that kind of doesn't matter as much. Starter frames and like recovery frames don't matter as much if the weapon's aerial drift is really powerful. And I saw it when they were doing like siders with the weapon. He was like drifting while he was doing the air moves. It was crazy. He was going from one place to another during the air move, which already says to me that it doesn't matter what the starter frames, recovery frames are, because drifting essentially alleviates that to a certain extent. Let's not mention the fact that you also have the other part that I actually forgot, where all air moves, when hit grounded, actually go into the stance. Down there, nair, sider, all of them
I did not know that.
go into the stance. So you can hit someone with a falling side there, and now you're instantly going into the bridge / closer. You don't go into the start. So
Okay.
it's just crazy. So if you're doing a falling down air and you hit the ground, you can be like, all right, I'm going into the bridge, or like I'm going into the closer, because
Right.
because the other guys are coming towards me in front of me, and I'm gonna try and punish them. Apparently, though, one thing that we didn't get to see enough of was that if it looks broke, it seems broken to play against a weapon that they can choose to just continue attacking when you're trying to punish it. Because when do you actually punish? Do you have to always wait for them to just go into bridge or closer, or what do you do? But apparently, once someone actually does the first move, just go through them. If you go on the opposite end, they can't actually switch direction. They have to continue forward.
okay, I mean,
So that's actually how you punish it, apparently. Which is interesting. The fact that you can't change directions actually makes it way more balanced.
it looks very, yeah, that makes it sound like very actually like a good, it looks like a very good trade-off, honestly, because
Right.
even though people like to like pretend that, oh, it's like you get all these moves and you get all these options, you have to stop a lot, because Brawlhalla is not as slow as you guys are realizing. So when people start putting out this wall of moves, if they don't have the option to move or to aim their attacks where they want them, you can easily just go above or behind them, and not much is going to come from it. So I still think you have to be very smart with what you're going to be putting out with Greatsword. It looks
Yep.
actually kind of slow, like especially watching on X video, and obviously it's not slow, but compared to like a lot of the weapons, like even hammer is like super fast, right? But it looks like noticeably slowish. Something that if someone is like actually just putting out hitboxes being dumb, you can rush down given the chance. But then again, I think this weapon is highlighted in the fact that, like you said, it has all these options coming in with a air move into turn it into this ending closer gap, whatever, you know. It has all these things, and the ground pound and recovery both look amazing too.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm just really curious about what the frame data is for the strings, because when the devs were playing it, I don't know how hard they were trying one now, but it looked like there was like 8-10 frames in between individual string, some of the individual string hits, and that's like super jumpable.
yeah,
So that means even if you get someone's dodge, you can't actually get the hit. You have to go for a read on their jumps and etc., or read on them waking up, even though you got the hit, so you can't continue stringing. I'm just really curious. If this values are like between 2 to 4 frames, that's essentially true for a string. I don't know what you would even call that. That's a confirmed string. But if it's above like 5, 6, now things are in jump out territory, wake up territory to a certain extent, etc. So I'm curious to see how that looks like.
Do you think Dex is gonna have any effect on this weapon?
This
I
might be
feel
the
like
one
that.
weapon.
I feel like it could, and then TWK would realize that it was an accident, just like the rest of them, and then just make it not. So.
Yeah, because
Just the balance team in general would just be like, oh, nope.
Because otherwise, it makes me think even more with like the stats that character has. It's like, okay, well, he has 5 decks, so baseline. And what happens if you give this character 6 decks? Will it do something? All right, if it doesn't, now this character has even better stats, just because it's like, why not just throw it away? Now, to be fair, who knows how taking one away will obviously affect it, but
I mean,
probably not to that great of an extent, especially considering if it actually isn't affected by decks. That's just what I wonder. I'm so curious. In my video I made, just like talking about my thoughts on the legend overall. That like just the stats I think are crazy good because it's gonna if you take it if you take away a dex, then you're gonna be reallocating it to either strength or speed, and you're gonna have 7 for that, and that's like that's just so good.
Sword legend as well.
Yeah, and then I talked about like some SIGs. I don't know what you guys think about the SIGs, but the 2 that stuck out to me were side SIG on normal sword and then on Greatsword and SIG, because at least to me it looked like the other SIGs on Greatsword were a little slow, which I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then N SIG looks like it covers so much and actually like comes out like not instantaneously, but a lot faster than the other ones. And then side SIG on sword, I mean, it reminds me of like Volkov side SIG or like Wu Shang side SIG, with how just fast you can put something out, and you don't move at all. Yeah, it's just you stay there, and I don't know how hard it hits, but it looks terrifying.
It just Koji down. It looked to me, it looked like a better Koji down sig on bow. Yeah. And but if that makes sense, that's what I looked at it as. I was like, wow, this is just they literally just took Koji down sig on bow and just made it a little bit better. And that's what the signature. And on sword, oh my! If you're a sword player and you see that signature, you're like, thank you. You gave me something that just kills people neutral. Like
what? Did we see any damage numbers or like know what the values are? So we just know that.
No, we don't. We have no info. Like frame data as well. We don't. We just have to go off of like how it looks like.
I think it could end up being like Scythe in the damage and frame data department. Like I think Scythe has like frames, and then it actually has like some damage. Yeah.
No, when you hit people with 3-hit strings, they were changing that like. They were going from like white to yellow in a 3-hit string from the Greatsword when I was looking at it actually. So I think damage is actually pretty decent. It looks like damage was decent at least. One thing that I'm actually really curious about there's 2 things that I'm curious about for Greatsword, or Jaehyun in general, because of Jaehyun's stats and whatnot and the signatures. Jaehyun looks like a character that would kill you off of the top so many times, because of like how his new signature works on sword and how Greatsword in general seems to work in the air. I like the neutral air and like recovery and stuff was honestly looks kind of crazy to me. I was like, wow, like you could probably kill people off the top so many times with Greatsword.
It makes me wonder too how much force like the Enders do on Greatsword. Like, I feel like they do a decent amount, but I don't know. You know, obviously until we get our hands on it, or unless there's clips specifically of them hitting like each other in red when they have. I think there was one, and it actually like killed. I don't know how.
It was 150. I think it was 160, 150. It looked like it. Right?
Really? I had to have been, but still, just like having, I don't know, like that's solid.
So, fun fact: Chill Penguin actually on Twitter mentioned that if you go into a closer. Like if you do the opener into closer, like if you do satellite, it goes from opener.
It goes straight from
closer,
opener,
right?
Yeah.
That actually had less force than going the 3-hit path. You actually get increased force for going the full path on the closer. Has higher fixed. There's higher fixed force on the closer if you go the entire path. Yeah. So you probably kill earlier if you go the entire path than you would if you just go into instant closure.
All right.
See, and stuff like that is just like insane because
that's
it's
a
just
smart
like,
move.
Yeah,
and obviously not to mention the fact that just getting one more hit is obviously more damage and whatnot and whatever. It's just outside of that, it just has higher force. Another thing that I'm interested about, because we don't know frame data, this seems like the weapon that actually will chain into signatures incredibly well. That was what really hit. I was like, okay, if I get someone's dodge, almost any of my individual moves, side light, down light, neutral light, sair, grounded, down air, grounded, whatever. If they don't have dodge, I could probably chain that into a signature. And that just literally just depends on what the frame data looks like. But no other weapon has the potential to just go like from like almost every single individual normal attack can go into a signature. There's very specific, like sword has the downlight into neutral sig on like certain legends, right?
Right.
And that's
if they don't have dodge,
and then and hammer has them like true on a lot of characters.
Right.
Sword does 38 damage, by the way.
But this is a weapon where, since down air grounded, neutral air grounded, side air grounded, side light, down light, neutral light, all of them can go into different bridges, and then you cancel that into a signature through dash or through chase dodge or something. What are the frames? If the frames are less than like 8, it probably is enough to kill on, because like the signatures are way bigger hitboxes. So like the neutral sig, as an example, on Greatsword, 8 frames if they don't have dodge, the only way they get out of it essentially would be possibly, depending on how it sends, a fast fall. But fast falling out of combos is what
Dangerous.
players do that, first of all.
Yeah.
Not very few players even. I mean, we had Scythe for the longest time and people didn't dodge neutral light recovery or side light recovery. Like, I mean, like, don't even mention fast falling. And then 2, wake up, probably. But you probably can't jump out of Greatsword neutral signature, as an example, off of a bridge or like an opener. So I'm just curious to see, is this a weapon where if you get someone's dodge at like deep yellow, early orange, you just go into signature, they die?
Are the SIGs killing in early orange? Because that's a different problem on its own, if you can see the SIGs killing at early orange.
No. The thing is, you do the...
You take them with the damage into red from orange. Okay.
Yeah, and then you just finish it off with the signature. You understand you see where I'm trying to go with it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wow. I'm so curious to see how that works. Because that stuff like that just straight up makes it instantly fly up in like years if you can just do that. What, you can kill people at deep yellow, early orange, depending on how you labbed it out? Because everything goes into everything.
Yeah, there's just so much that it's opening up, especially like I feel like it's also brought in a lot of stuff from other weapons. Like if you look at the dare, it's like almost spear dare, right? You just like poke down with your sword instead of your spear. And then you've also got the ground pound, reminiscent of spear ground pound, except this one sends downwards rather than to the sides, it looks like. Mm-hmm. So it's got a lot of area control to it. I feel like it has so many options. Like if the frames are good and it's actually usable, I can see this weapon just like being one of those weapons that always has a place to be played, right? Sword's never like god awful. For sword to be bad, it has to be like what it is now, where it's like you win a lot of interactions, because sword is still winning these interactions. Its damage is just too low to make up for it when you compare it to the other weapons, right? But this weapon looks like it has what it takes to just always be somewhat strong, and then it's just going to need like those strings. Like I feel like Katars are also like that, where it's like it has what it needs, and then you just have to make sure it can actually do its strings, get its damage out, and I feel like it's just important to wait for the frames. I'm telling you, as soon as this weapons comes out, you're gonna see like 50 combos on Reddit, obviously. So it's just gonna be a good thing to wait for.
Yeah, is this design of Greatsword like the final iteration? Because to me personally, it is.
I mean,
it's coming out Wednesday.
It's ready to ship, so.
It's coming Wednesday. Like this Wednesday.
Well, I don't mean like the animation with like the red and.
The animation. I don't think it is. It looks very undone.
Because I don't want it to be another canon where I thought that canon was like still in progress with the animation and stuff, and they shipped it out, and I was like, this weapon looks so clunky.
I remember getting hit by Cannon's weapon throw, and the sound was just like, what? It wasn't. It was a different sound.
When that first happened.
And obviously they fixed it, but like I said, I think like the weapon looks done, and the animations, the red, it just doesn't look like anything they've put out before. It doesn't look anime. It looks like it was just colored red, so it could be to show that these were different moves. Yeah. So I feel like coming in, like the actual one will be different, but. I can definitely see.
The color's fine. Just they didn't like fix up certain aspects of it, just make it look a little bit better. That's all. The only, I think, honestly, I think that's probably going to be the finished product. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna work on it though, right? That's what my sound is like. Okay, this looks pretty much as good as we can get it for now. It's not to say like it's not finished. It's probably really finished. It's like all touch-ups usually always come when a massive amount of players get to play it. Like now it's more like, okay, let's just give it an answer to people, and then let's touch up on what we have to touch up on once everyone else gets to play it. You guys brought up an interesting point about like with Grace, with how it is, what type of weapon will this even be in the meta? And I have my own prediction about it. I think what's gonna unless it just straight up really easy to play and it just is overpowered or broken, whatever. I think what's gonna happen is people are not gonna perform on it within the first like 3 months. I think the first 3 months is probably gonna be way worse than just playing anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like maybe a little bit like how Scythe was on release, and then after those 3 months, even without changes or nothing, I think we will start seeing how strong it actually is. Like, because one thing is just figuring out like how it combos, how it works in situations, blah blah. Another is figuring out how you should be playing it in the meta. Are you supposed to be very defensive and wait for like your opportunity?
Yeah.
Do you toss out moves? Which one is more optimal? We realized that later with Scythe, with someone like Sandstorm,
Yeah.
just weapon throw your way in, they'll dodge, hit them.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it takes time for someone to figure out the actual neutral gameplay of the
Yeah.
weapon.
it
outside
always
of just
has.
everything else.
When they
Yeah.
drop a new weapon, you always have people that are like coming out with maining. Like Dobrin main Scythe, and he looked good, and he did like find out new things for Scythe, and then Effie also
Right.
main Scythe. He looked good. He found out a lot of new stuff. And then Sandstorm just came in,
For the
and
op-
it was
the
like
real optimal
yeah,
way.
it wasn't like
Yeah.
so it was different from what they had already done, and so it could just come out of nowhere, or it could be obvious. I don't know, like
Yeah.
Orb, for example, came out and it was kind of obvious compared to Scythe what you were supposed to be doing, right?
Right.
This weapon
Mhm.
is not obvious, is not clear what you're going to be doing. Maybe when the frame data
Yeah.
comes out, it'll be like some super cheese, easy combos, but I doubt it. So I think
Yeah,
this is
it
going to
didn't
be one
look
of
like
those
it.
weapons that you really do have to lab. And we saw Boomie tweet, for example, like, I'm on break, that doesn't mean I can't play Brawl. I'm going to be playing Greatsword while you all actually play the tournaments, maybe get a head start for myself. And I could see it. Maybe Boomie's the one that shows us what we're supposed to be doing with Greatsword. Maybe not. Maybe it's me. I'm kind of fucking epic, so we all know that. But yeah, and
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of people trying this out, especially given that it's coming with the sword too.
Definitely.
Like,
Oh, dude, that's
It's
like
gonna
that's
be-
the-
the progression, I feel like is gonna be a lot quicker than Scythe because people are gonna be a lot more willing to just play
yeah,
it.
because
Yeah.
it looks fun,
sword.
dude. It looks so
Yeah.
fun. Like maybe it's slow, maybe it's like really clunky, and then that makes it not fun. But
Dude.
even then, the aerial drift really makes it. Weapons that have good aerial drift feel incredible to play. Orb is a good example of a weapon where it doesn't have the biggest aerial drift. It hasn't like Sider and stuff like that, but the fluidity of how the movement works on certain attacks can make a weapon feel really fun, even if the weapon itself isn't really good.
Definitely.
So super curious to see. It's gonna be a ton of J-Guns, ton of
Like, yeah, I don't even know what to say where like this stuff is gonna go. It's like it looks like for once it doesn't just look like, oh, the devs are playing it, so it's just like, oh, we'll just wait for it to come out. It really does look like there's just so much you can do with it, and it's
Right.
like there's just no answer to like what kind of weapon is this. You just don't know from watching that stuff. You actually have to wait till it's in your hands and play it. And that's just good. So I'm excited for
it's
it.
so different from like it really like they've like we talked about, they've always explored one or two new aspects about about other weapons. Not canon. Canon came later, like with the rework they did. Then they tried to explore more like the actual explosions and stuff like that, and like ground it down there and stuff. But Orb, they mess with like the different iterations of down there, right?
Yeah.
Or like how it works on the wall. That's a new aspect. With Scythe, they mess with the active input. That's a new aspect. Bow was probably one of the only Bow and Axe was definitely more straightforward than the rest. Bows had some small things that was like a little bit cool, like splash down there, whatnot. Nothing too special. But what's really interesting to me about Greatsword is that they just revolutionized in every aspect. How it works with dashes, how it works with gravity cancels, how it works sliding off a ledge. Apparently, there's like a different way of how the moves work when you slide it off a ledge or something like that. I don't even understand what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah. Is anything the same?
there's-
Holy.
It's just crazy how they straight up took every aspect, an individual small feature about Brawlhalla, and then they like tried to change it up for Greatsword. Gravity cancels, slide charges. I mean, sliding off a ledge, hitting the ground with grounded attack, the weird dash resets, the shake out, like just everything. Like
Yeah.
as you can see, it's just
It just
every
goes on
small
forever.
aspect they could have found.
Yeah.
They changed how it works for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. And then it also opens up like, this is a great sword, but what are the next weapons gonna be? You know, because they're not stopping here. Like they've got their
Sure.
ideas obviously. So, and it probably took them a long time to decide that they were gonna do a great sword. Because I'm like just 100% sure they just had other things they could have done, right? So, and they went with this. So, and like I'm just saying, imagine what comes next after great sword. It's gonna be really insane.
Or
Look-
just reworking.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, and that's it. Like they rework canon, and so we just don't know what they can do. It's like we thought we were a lot of people like to accept that they're not gonna rework any weapons, and they just did. They
Oh,
rework
sure.
canon. So like let's go.
Yeah.
Like what are you gonna what
think-
can you say now?
I think they want base weapons, like I'm talking sword, spear. I honestly think spear and lance. Spear is gonna get looked at sometime because of how recovery and ground pound. Honestly, I feel like they're just outdated mechanics to a certain extent. Like yes, it's iconic, and they can still find something that looks iconic in the same way for spear
Right.
and whatnot. But dude, it's always felt terrible as a casual to play against this hitbox of ground pound and recovery. It's like the most simple
Yeah.
thing. But I know that they'd probably want to keep base weapons somewhat the same. Like sword, you want to probably not mess too much with it. But that's not to say that certain aspects about it wouldn't change, revolutionize how the weapon is played. Sword satellite change, as an example, that happened, that one patch, completely actually changed how strong sword was in the meta. Because you now got like this crazy 50-50 on them dodging, on them not dodging, in terms of using a signature after it, as an example, or like an
Mhm.
attack. And that just really levels it up in terms of how viable the weapon is.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that smaller changes wouldn't even change the weapon as well, to update them to feel a bit better to play.
Obviously. So yeah, and another thing to look at real quick is how the weapon will play in twos. Looking at it on the dev stream, I feel like it has you committing a lot to stuff, so it could end up being, if it doesn't have what it needs, it could end up just being like a Qatar's situation in twos, where it's like to actually get the value out of your weapon, you have to be relying on yourself a lot, which is not really always the best decision, which is why you probably don't see a lot of Qatars in twos. You don't really want to be branching out that long by yourself.
Right.
But
Yeah. Actually, good point. I'm curious to see how it works in 2v2. Like, is it DIable with bridge and closers? How does
Yeah.
that work?
I hope
The-
so, man. I hope so.
how
otherwise
crazy,
it's
like,
gonna be-
are the closers going to be crazy in terms of like how you get combo? Like, it's weird.
Right.
I'm curious. And thing is, it also has like really big swinging. It kind of the aerial move is kind of like axe to a certain extent. A little bit, like it's not a terrible way of like, because it's like super different, but
Yeah.
I mean more like in how how big the swings are and like how whooshy they are, and like at least the cider as an example. And then the neutral layer is more like an orb neutral layer, and orb neutral layer is actually incredible in 2v2 if you can actually get to use it, because it's one of the most free moves to just toss out as an anti-air in the entire game. So I'm curious to see just how it would perform in 2v2. If it's anything like Cloud from Smash, I mean Cloud just straight up was the most terrifying 2v2 to carry to play
Yeah.
because killed you super early. The combos were ridiculous. The safety of the moves and hitbox and whatnot was crazy. The frame data was strong. Like, a lot of good aspects. So if it's anywhere like that, I mean, you know.
Yeah, my predictions are probably in 1v1s, people will figure it out quicker,
Yeah.
and then in 2v2s will follow after. Like, I can see, once his character's legal, I can see someone getting results with it in 1v1s. In 2v2s, though, just since people know what works and they're very good at it, aka, like double axe, like, it might be very difficult to figure out, at least right now, how the meta is to incorporate a weapon where you have so many options. I mean, it goes back to what Remy was saying, how, if it's kind of like guitars, then it might be a lot harder to do than we think.
Yeah, like I just wanted to. I mean, there's 3 days left, right? Monday, Tuesday, like
Yeah,
just give it.
It'll be out
Mhm.
Wednesday. Pretty sure there'll be a patch with it. I'm not the dev, so obviously, but this is gonna. I don't know. It's just gonna be good. What can you even say about this besides like I just want to see it? Like you just want to see it. There's not. You can't even talk about it anymore.
But just think about one thing. It's like we can talk about this for like almost hours, and we haven't even gotten it yet.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like how deep is it? Like how much depth actually is there once we get it?
Yeah,
well?
we'll definitely make another like another topic just to like see how it actually is playing when we
how
have
it
it.
fared. Yeah, like 3-4 weeks, 5 weeks from now. Yeah.
So
See where it ended up.
Mm.
I'm actually last point on what new weapon. I'm very curious to see the first ever like tournament results when you can play it. It's probably not gonna be legal for LTC. I'm fairly certain. But after LTC,
No
it's probably
way.
it's legal
impossible.
after LTC for the tournament after that.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious to see when the result comes up from Greatsword, because I know for a fact in certain new legends or certain new weapons, people haven't played against it enough. So if you can actually manage to get ahead in terms of gameplay or theorize, and someone hasn't been able to play against you, you might just body them. You know what I mean? Like, because they just don't know what to do if you figure out certain aspects. So I'm so curious to see its tournament results, because it's always funny when a new weapon or like a legend that's really interesting gets played, because it's just like, dude, what am I even playing against? Like, I don't even know what to do. I'm in the tournament. I can't just like learn how to play against it right now.
Right.
I don't even I don't even know like who people are that would want to commit to it. I don't know anyone that's like decide they already want to main Greatsword. So even now, it's just like we'll come see Wednesday. We'll see like who actually wants to put their time into weapon. I for one, I've always just like, I mean, when you look at my profile, you got every sword legend above level 50. So obviously the time will be put into it, and if I actually like it, I'll keep playing it. I mean, I'm interested in doing something new, so I'm definitely down to play it. See what we can do.
Especially if new is just flat out better. I mean,
Yeah.
that's only another incentive.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's a good investment. Even if it's bad, I think it is.
I think I've honestly looking at it, I think you'll learn a lot of how to just like play Brawlhalla even just from it. Like just because it just makes you it just makes you think a lot about what you're doing. So
yeah, it's like everything from dodges to how you're actually playing on neutral, because you can't. There's certain things you probably can't do, and then starter frames are probably like a little bit slow, so you have to be careful on how you're using your movement to get stuff. I can. And honestly, just worst case scenario, just pick up the sword. You know what I mean? Like just finish the Greatsword away, go full Costlix.
Trust me.
Jaehyun's stats and Jaehyun's sword signatures, like standalone. Ignore Greatsword. He's a really good character.
Mm-hmm.
If we just ignore Greatsword. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, only a few more days.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the skins though. They better come out with some heat on the skins. I don't want disappointing.
Bro, I can't
skins.
even.
Luckily, the base skins.
Base Jaehyun's looking like kind of fire. Like, let's be real here. You can ask for nice skins, but base Jaehyun,
Kind of
you
chunky.
can honestly. Hey, we're not fat shaming here, man. We get it. You work out, okay?
He has to be like he's like buffed to like carry that. You see that?
Yeah,
It's like guts.
yeah,
It's like
true.
Guts from Berserk. Honestly, give me a Berserk skin though. Yo,
Not bad.
give me a Guts skin. What am I doing?
Dude, you can already tell what skins are coming out with this character. They're gonna give it one of the Japanese mask skins like Tengu Koji or the Lin Fei one, obviously, like they do with all of them. And then they're gonna give it someone that's like, I don't know, space astronaut Jaehyun. I can already see it happen and put him in the spacesuit. And then you don't ask any questions.
Yeah, like completely different era. Cyberpunk Jaehyun or something like that.
Yeah. But I don't honestly, the character looks sick on base, like you guys said, so I'm excited. Maybe they'll bring back something a little lore wise, put in the Dark Heart Jaehyun. You already know how it goes. With BMG, they can honestly play anything. We've already seen that they just make something. It's a skin now. What it doesn't even matter.
Or a battle pass skin.
Yeah.
That's definitely happening. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. It's like only character with Greatsword.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be actually very surprised if the next battle pass.
Honestly, that brings up another point where it's like collector's Greatsword is probably gonna look sick as fuck, but there's not gonna be this battle pass's skin set isn't gonna have a Greatsword, so that's kind of interesting to look at. Unless they decide right now to make one, but they've actually started pushing entire skin series like lines. Like you have the entire Darkheart line that has one for every weapon. Is that gonna come out with the Greatsword? Remember the green ruby line? I don't remember. It was like an emerald weapon.
The Jade.
Yeah,
the Jade
Jade.
ones,
Jade. I love that one.
It's
I
a
love
nice
that
it's a nice one. I don't think there's an orb jade skin, or a bow one for that matter. I think it's missing a couple actually, but.
bow would look cool.
I think
I
there
really
is a
like
jade
the
bow.
Dragon one.
I think there is a jade bow. It's just really ugly, so I don't use it. But I think I don't know. It'd be interesting to see all the Greatsword. I think a Greatsword jade skin would be sick as fuck though. That like the Greatsword design like of a big sword, it can just go anywhere. It looks because the sword already has some nice ass skins, and just like this is just bigger sword. It just gets to be a nice skin but bigger. So I'm down for it.
Oh, continue.
I was gonna say I'm looking forward to the Skyforge and Goldforge ones because I know Kala Maripop made those. She said she helped design those, so those are gonna probably be pretty sick. Because for me personally, I'm not one that likes a lot of the Skyforge skins. So I always, new weapon, another chance to change my mind on the Skyforge line of weapons in general, to see if it actually like is something worth getting, or am I just gonna like buy Skyforge colors for Queen 9 next season?
Sit on the glory. Why you already have Skyforge for Queen 9? You should be on your Gold Forge by now for all the characters. But
I know.
Guess I'm just built different. You already know I come in 20k glory every season. It's just who I am.
Side note, how do you guys spend your glory? I have this weird thing where like I save glory for like 3 seasons and then I just splurge, and then I save for another 3 seasons and then I just splurge.
I spend all the glory on characters that I like want at the moment, and then I save enough for the next color on one character I don't know yet. Yeah, in case.
Right. Yeah. I always have something saved up.
Then again, I've been saving up for 3 seasons because I don't want anything else. So, and the Gold Forge is just so ugly. I can't be bothered to buy it.
Yeah, it always has to be Skyforge.
Yeah, Gold Forge just does.
Sometimes Gold Forge is sometimes.
Yeah, but Skyforge always looks good. I fuck with Skyforge.
Yeah. I'm curious about one thing actually. I'm not curious, but so it was actually a good comment. I actually really a bone greatsword would actually be kind of cool. Not gonna lie, like Monster Hunter style, or like like just like a greatsword that looks like a bone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There's that Asuri skin. The Halloween one has a bone sword. No, it's a Jiro skin or something. A skin has a bone sword, and that sword already looks kind of sick. I used it sometimes, so. Bone sword will definitely be cool. Big bone sword.
Fat thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Unless you guys have something else to say, we can move on to the next thing. Either one of you have anything on the Greatsword besides how fucking cool it looks and how good I will be at it? I'll take any of your praises now, by the way.
I have
no comment.
I have
still a hater. It's weird.
I swear. Last comment. I swear. Whatever direction it goes with the Greatsword, it's fun to see BNG experiment, but this is also just. I'm actually I just have to read. I'm actually shocked at how depthful it actually is. Like, cause no other weapon really has ever been like this, and they're like, you know what? All right, stop complaining, boys. Y'all always complain about blah blah and like this and that.
It's time to get over it, guys. We got you.
So yeah, it's fun, interesting, but fun.
Yeah. It was also really cool to see Darrell get back on stream and explain stuff, because everyone is always like on TWK or whatever, but it just reminds you all that there are other people making these weapons, and Darrell is kind of sick, so respect. That was
all of those are pretty sick. I'm happy that they're finally going back to the. Actually, we can just move on to the next topic. BMG actually responded to a lot of like community. So the next topic is just us talking about BMG's response to the community.
Yep.
The Foda did a stream about it on Friday. The Friday before last.
Wasn't
Friday?
It the Monday dev stream this week?
Oh, Monday. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, Foda responded on the Monday dev stream. On the Tuesday dev stream, Duke and Sheepy responded to certain things, and then on the Friday dev stream, we got like derailed on to like explain the Greatsword. So essentially, BMG has now started responding to the community about questions, and they also started like actually interacting with the community a lot more with like different people. So the next segment now is just us responding to some of the BMG responses actually to them that they came out with. Do you know where to start?
Viewership rewards. I mean, I feel like that is possibly the biggest one that was revealed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, they said what it's like. It's, I guess, kind of a not a work. I don't want to call it a work in progress, but like beta form, essentially. Like it's gonna be implemented for low tier city, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
Low
already
Tier
it's
City
already
is first
implemented.
tournament.
It was implemented during the dev stream, so if you were watching the dev streams, technically you already started
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. It actually went up 2,000 viewers after we activated it. So I'm pretty sure that was from like people messaging their friends or something like last minute. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
go
Little
to stream. We
Kickstarter.
can get an automatic
CC.
Little boosty boost with the
Yeah.
community color code.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
so-
be interesting for sure. I mean, that was my biggest complaint, and I'm happy to see finally it's. I obviously they knew it was a problem. I'm not saying they've been oblivious,
Mhm.
but it's always nice to see like something, at least for me, and I know a lot of other people. It was on the top of their list, and it's like, okay, yeah, next tournament is when we're gonna start rolling it out, and by BCX
Yep.
we're gonna have like this whole
this
thing.
and that and what.
Yeah, this
So-
whole big thing.
So yeah, so during it for viewership rewards at least, explained that this is super beta, like this is super to start. In the future, they hope to do like an entire like a viewership reward series in the same way Battle Pass works, where like it's like a lot of
Ooh.
it's like for low tier city, there's like an exclusive skin line for low tier city that you
Yeah.
can only get by watching low tier city for that event. It's never gonna come back, or
Mhm.
maybe it does, but like they're gonna make like exclusive rewards for each tournament, and
Yeah.
that's really important because CCs can only go so far after a
Right.
certain point. But if you can get something exclusive every tournament, that gives people and forces people to actually watch
Yeah.
because of the exclusivity, and it's free.
Mhm.
You're paying in terms of watch it,
Yeah.
and whether that's
Yeah.
real viewers, whether that becomes real viewers in the future, whether that's just people just sitting there, what ends up happening is viewership will automatically go up. Now other people see it, and then now people get exposed to it, and then like
Yep.
it's a snowball effect. Even if it doesn't give us the result we want to start, aka just get genuinely people watching esports, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
The viewership going up always just snowballs upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards.
Yeah, and you've got
So,
you've
yeah.
already got the championship packs that you get, like as in literally just like the mammoth coins and the skin, and so there are seasonal skins and stuff like that already exist, and now you're just like
Right.
looking to push them into giving them for the viewership. Like the thing with the seasonal packs right now is that you can buy it and then you never actually have to watch anything. So obviously, if you just want to buy it, you buy it, and that's what it is. But this is different. This is now telling you that okay, you get reward for actually being there to get the content because you can buy the seasonal anytime. And I really like this because I was also thinking something like this isn't like on the viewership rewards, but it is on promoting the tournaments where it's like okay, we have our battle pass broken up into these seasons, and I think it's 12-week seasons, 8 or 12, something like that. We're on 7, so I think it's 12. But we have our battle pass broken up into seasons, and and we have seasonals that are also broken up into seasons. So I could see like
Yep.
you base right now we obviously have the Japanese battle pass, and obviously that's way cooler than any seasonal. But like imagine a battle pass completely based around BCX leading up to BCX. That's just like so much free.
Yeah, like an esports track.
Yeah, just
you
like-
know? And then there's a free version that combines with the way the viewership rewards work.
Yeah,
And
like
there's like a
there's-
premium version that maybe increases your viewership rewards, makes it faster, and then like a ton of other things, right?
So if it just now that you know that they're willing to work with the viewership rewards and the tournament content, they can really push into okay, what else can we do that has to do with tournaments? What can we merge with in the shop for the tournaments? Because a lot of people are always asking, oh fucking why can't we buy the sponsor avatars for the players? And that's a separate thing. But now
That's a different
it's like
problem,
now it's just like straight up this is from a tournament, go watch this tournament exists. It's not just like here's a summer championship pack, you probably don't even know what this means. It's a pack, it's summertime, buy it, here's a skin. Now it's like
Right.
there's a tournament happening, this is how you get it, and that's gonna be really good all in all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like imagine within the pack, you're also just like, okay, if you also when you get this pack, it unlocks this like premium track for you for the viewership rewards. Now either you like we said, now you get either 2 times faster rewards,
yeah,
viewers like time wise, or like more stuff that you get because of the pack that you bought because it's now a premium track and whatnot. Like, and then you can just refund whatever that does and then just put it straight back into esports as an example, and now you just have like a cycle that just like goes
yeah.
around and around, or like,
Like-
take, not everything, but like take like 20% of it and just refund that into the prize pools or
Yeah,
like the esports
and
itself.
like that idea is just like super solid. Like just imagine a viewing battle pass like you all watch the same amount of time. You've watched 10 hours. Here's a taunt. You watched 12 hour. You watched 15 hours. Here's another taunt. Here's a skin, and all you had to do was pay because obviously people are paying for the battle pass. Like people are gonna pay
Yeah,
for battle passes.
right.
Now they pay $5 and they get skins for watching the dev stream. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, well the tournament. So it's like, and then not to even like mention the ones you're getting for free. So. And obviously, not everything is a battle pass. Not everything has to be like come pay, watch. It's just to show that you can force these opportunities and create reasons for people to watch, even if they compete. And I'm saying it like fucking make them spend money. People are gonna spend money. Like let's be real here. If you put $5 on a skin and then tell them you've paid $5, but now you also have to watch 20 hours, they're still gonna pay the fucking $5. They really just are. So.
I mean, it's always like that. If there's an illusion, I mean, that's just how it is. If there's an illusion of, oh, I get all this new free stuff because I spent time, but I just have to like buy it. It's already there for me. I already got some other stuff, but now those things are there for me. It's available for me. I just have to unlock it, and it just puts you in that position like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna unlock this. Never mind, I got it.
Yeah. Didn't another Ubisoft game like kind of do something similar? And like I want to say Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six probably, but I don't remember how their system works. But
Yeah,
I think Rainbow Six
yeah.
has some sort of esports viewership reward thing. They did that really early on, if I recall.
Right.
Don't remember.
And
But I don't
now,
remember how
yeah.
their system works.
Right. Yeah. I was just gonna say, I mean, you know, Ubisoft seems to have a decent track record at the very least of, you know, helping the game or whatever that's trying to grow or whatever with this stuff. So
Yeah.
we see Rainbow Six now. I mean, possible tier 1 esport, if
Almost.
not.
Yeah, almost not yet. The reason why is because the reason why we can't call it tier 1 is because tier 1 esports went next level when franchising started happening.
Right.
That
Okay.
really like messed up the other tier 2 esports. They can't like get to tier 1 unless they have high tier budget franchising. And at the moment, that's like, or they have a ridiculous viewership amount, and that is CS:GO. CS:GO doesn't have franchising, but it has
Yeah,
It's just so high
insane
that it's
viewership.
like it doesn't even matter.
So that's
And, like,
why it becomes tier 1 esport.
the league
Right.
does have
Yeah,
franchises.
point being,
so-
it definitely.
It's like one of the close out of
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Almost, it's pretty much one of the closest things for tier 1 contender
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
But besides that, like that was just one thing. That was literally just for the response to like esports viewership rewards, and they didn't. He went into detail a little bit about how it works and what they want to do for the future, and then now we can already see all this amazing thing. But they said a million other things, and besides that, that also means to me that I did like this huge post 2.5 hours where I try to like explain why BMG haven't done what people
think you
feel
can
like they
check that
should,
out
and at the
on
same time I
Diakou's
also
YouTube.
went the other end where I explained to BMG why certain things are doing is also like I was pretty much in the middle. I didn't take a side on whether BMG or I just tried to like help both communities essentially. But I don't think what they did was in response to me, but it's very, very clear that it was true that they want to work on things. It was just they really were stuck developer time wise, like, because they had no problem just instantly being like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I mean we have all these things. Just look what's gonna happen, guys. And next thing you know, viewership rewards is now a thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
Greatsword is happening. And then we can move on and talk about what happened. They talked about Brawlhalla by the numbers. It was like a small thing. In the past, Brawlhalla by the numbers. Sorry for like taking over a little bit.
That's good.
In the past, Brawlhalla by the numbers was just like 2018. They showed X amount of people played Brawlhalla.
Yeah, and
This year, X amount of people played this legend. So much money, esports. This one, they were more like showed the player base, and they said that in 2019 we had 3.5 million players every month, and then at this very moment, apparently we have 7.5 million players playing Brawlhalla every month.
yeah,
That is
That's
7.5 million
doubled
players logging
already.
in and playing a game of Brawlhalla.
and we haven't even gone through the entire year yet, and it's already doubled from last year. So you can just tell the reach this game has, and I think that's something everyone that plays already understands, that this game can go so far. Everyone believes that like this game has so much potential. No one, I don't think anyone is doubting this game unless you are truly, truly dumb. But
It was just the Twitch side,
Yeah.
and like we didn't see features for so long, which
Yeah.
like really probably frustrates long-time players.
Mhm.
Casual probably had a great time. Oh, crossover, let's go,
Oh,
baby.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
like even like if you're gonna say like on Twitch, yes, Twitch is doing weirdly bad. Like it's weird.
Right,
It's
right.
weird.
It's
It
just-
really is. But
yeah.
and maybe viewership rewards is that. I mean, it's not like the streamers are getting viewership rewards. So in a bad world, it still does bad. But at least the tournaments are doing well. But and then you
Right.
switch to YouTube where it's not. It's you can tell from the YouTube that Brawlhalla has a player base,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
It's not.
Dude.
It's like night and day when you look at the YouTube videos and then you look at the Twitch channels.
Yo, so I did a thing the other day because I was just curious. I was like looking at Smash Ultimate or like Smash Melee YouTubers
Mhm.
because that's like a good way for us to like
Right.
gauge or like fighting game. And I looked at their YouTube numbers and their viewership on their videos. Leffen has 164,000 subs.
Hmm.
Boomie is at almost 110,000 now, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at I'm like, dude, those games are known for like grassroots, tons of viewers, whatnot. But we're almost there in terms of like just like YouTube wise. So I'm just like, holy, the game actually. Like we're a lot bigger than we actually genuinely thought. I was looking at like the different numbers. I was like, dude, our YouTubers are actually getting huge viewers.
Mhm.
Viewership.
It's just we mainly see for the longest time at least, because still a lot of people don't take advantage of the YouTube side for Brawlhalla.
Yeah.
It's just like when we see Twitch, we see Smash like 50,000, or I remember it was like G5 or something, Genesis 5, that got like 150,000 viewers
Something
or
crazy,
something.
yeah.
Just absolutely wild. Meanwhile, Brawlhalla, we're out here like hoping to God that Boomie will host after he's done streaming his POV and losing to Costalix, that he'll bless us with the
One host,
1K
please,
drop.
please.
Yeah, and then we'll be pushing 2K viewers. So it's definitely like it's such a skewed perception in our head of what to I don't know, of what to like expect, I guess.
Hmm.
I actually can kind of explain a little bit just before on about why the viewership on Twitch is as bad as it is compared to YouTube and why YouTube is. It's actually because Twitch, believe it or not, Twitch is actually very not casual.
Mm.
It's like normies actually don't know about Twitch or like ever frequent. Twitch is ridiculous. I think I remember what the number was because it's only a gaming platform as well. But it was or primarily a game platform. I remember the number was something like 0.3% of what YouTube's reach is or something like that.
That's
It's like
insane.
ridiculously small in compared to YouTube, and that's why YouTube does that well because it reaches the casuals straight up. You don't have to show them where to go to find. The casuals already know YouTube is a
YouTube
thing
exists.
all the time.
Yeah, like if you play
Right.
if you play video games like on casual, like you just play video games, you already know about YouTube. But if you're a casual video game player, you maybe don't know about Twitch. You're maybe not going to go to Twitch if you like. And
Or,
if
like,
you
even just watch, right?
Like when you
Even
search
know
something
about
up, when you search something up, and it's like you're just getting into it, you're new to it. The first place you're going to go search something up is YouTube. It just makes sense, right? As soon as you start something
Always.
new, you go search it up on YouTube. Obviously there's places you can go to learn how to build a computer, right? Like there's probably sites that are easier, smarter, better, give you more information. But the first place you're going to go is how do I build a computer on YouTube? It just is what you do. It's just like a common thing for everyone, so it makes sense.
That's pretty much why that's pretty much why we were all struggling because there's only two ways we ever get Twitch viewership. It's number one, which is the hardest one. Us players become YouTubers, get huge fan bases, and then transfer those fan bases to Twitch, and then we grow from there.
Mm-hmm.
Or BMG's like, yo guys, by the way, I know a lot of you are casual, but like 99% of you actually don't know. Go over to Twitch. We actually have a Twitch scene as well. You have to literally just let them know there's a reason to go there, and we have this is available. So that's why we needed to wait for BMG essentially, or like. But we can move on from there. What besides Brawlhalla by the numbers? What more was there? There was a lot.
I mean, mobile, right? We should be expecting that before BCX.
Yeah. So they said that mobile is close to finish, and they hope to release it sometime before BCX. They didn't mention if it was going to be like soon or if it was going to be by BCX. They said at least at the latest by
Yeah.
before, at the latest before B6. That's what they said. So I think they're trying to give themselves a leeway.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that sounded a lot like, okay, we might be ready, but we're not gonna risk any complications that can happen, and then like give you guys a day that we can't follow up on. So they like gave themselves a huge buffer. That's what it sounded like to me, at least the way they were going out about it. I'm curious to see how mobile does. Mobile will be. I think people don't understand. If I can be on phone and log into my actual account, I don't know if I don't remember if they talked about account linking.
They did,
if it is,
but
if
it's not like it was. I'll just bring it up because it was actually quick. The account linking thing is way harder than you actually imagine it is, and they then they admitted that they would do it if they could. It's not as easy as people want to make it out to be. And that's kind of. I think that's kind of obvious that it's not an easy thing to do, to be honest.
Yeah, I know it was mainly that in that regards the account linking was talking about like PC and consoles, you know. It didn't really cover mobile much,
I mean,
so,
is it
mobile
easier
much different.
on mobile to PC? Would it be easier?
I think mobile so I've researched actually the topic a little bit, and from what I know, mobile to PC should actually not be that complicated. Mobile to console, literally no clue. Zero. There's no info. I can't find it. But I know that mobile to PC actually shouldn't necessarily be too hard. The thing is, these are with like other engines. There's like Unreal Engine and stuff like that, where there's like a lot of inherent ways to do it. But BMG probably has a different way to do it. So I don't know how easy it would be for them actually. But my point is, if you can account link at least PC to mobile, and you're telling me I can go on my phone and I can like have replays. I can have my replays on my phone, and I can spectate Remmy playing Brawlhalla. I'm never not playing not doing Brawlhalla stuff ever again in my life.
Bro, if
literally
you
just straight up.
That'd be like insane though, having the replays on your phone, because the replays are like immediately saved on your computer. Because even if you switch your account, you're getting your replays, and you're getting the replays of the person that last played on that computer. So
let's say BMG doesn't have a default way of actually like transferring replays because it's saved on the computer. What we could do as players is literally we make a Google Doc, we make a Google a live Google Dropbox, or what do you call that again? Google Cloud.
Google Drive.
Or a Dropbox,
Google
doesn't matter what
Drive,
it is.
Google Drive.
And then make it so that every replay automatically saves to that drive.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you literally, it all automatically does that. So what you do is you just go on your phone, and now you have it on your drive on your phone as well. So in real time, it's always just uploading and deleting and uploading, so that you never have to like manually get replays and then download it to your mobile.
And honestly, this is what I think about this whole thing with the account linking and whatever. We have account IDs. Like your Brawlhalla account has an ID. Open the top right corner, you can see your number. So you are memorized in the system by you, and and this is obviously way easier said than done, and will take a while. But I don't understand why. I do understand, but I could see a world where we start pushing for just completely migrating that account, and now you're not looking at your Steam account being what you play Brawlhalla with. Obviously, you still play it on Steam, but you're looking at a Blue Mammoth Games account. You're looking at a Brawlhalla account, and that makes it just easier to bring your stuff to every single system you want it to be. All you need to do is remember your account information and log in, right? And also, I think that problem comes in with like where it's like, okay, your DLC is saved on Steam though, so you can't have. But I mean, still, I mean, that's where it's catching me. So
for that, at least mobile wise, like I've searched the topic. It's honestly everything just comes down to policies. Like yes, there's also engine limitation and whatnot, but all of it is just policies. Like Sony, the problem is that maybe Sony doesn't want that when you buy something on PS4 that you can have that DLC over to PC. There might be like content policies that like clash. That's where the problems are. Because now Sony might lose a potential revenue. Let's say, because Steam takes a cut. I'm not sure you guys know this. It's official. Steam takes like a 20%, 30% cut or something like that of all revenue of stuff you buy. Now, Steam might be pissed that you can buy something on PS4, and now they don't get their cut, but they can get that on their. You see, that's where the struggles now start happening. It's actually more like capitalistic systems, and people want money. That's like more of actually the bigger problem.
But on the Android or iPhone store, they probably care a lot less, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's probably like completely a different ball. That's what I'm assuming, because I've seen other games account link a lot easier, iOS and Android wise. But like I said, dude, oh my god, like if I can watch my friends play Brawlhalla on my phone or like anything else than just a PC or console, something that's like accessible, really easy
Then
to
it's
get.
over.
Or like replays, that would be the number one time I'd actually ever start watching replays because I can't actually play the game.
Yeah.
Replays are the problem of like, why am I watching a replay when I can just play the game?
Hmm.
But if you're
Yeah.
on your phone, you can play the game on your phone as well. But like most of the time, you're probably like on the run or whatever. You can actually
Honestly,
just take a look at your own gameplay. Imagine how crazy that is.
Mhm.
when it's playable, just full transfer to mobile. Why even waste your time on the computer? You know, just start pull up to the tournament. You got the phone in your hand. You say, "Well, I'll plug this in at." You get the lightning cord on your phone into the PC, and then you're ready. Why even waste your time with the PC? So I mean,
Yeah, so we'll see what mobile. And honestly, mobile, I don't know how that's ever. I don't think anyone can predict how many players we get from it. If we even
No.
get players from it, what's gonna happen. If it does, that'd be really cool.
I mean, the way I've always looked at it, it's like mobile is such an untapped market for platform fighters,
mhm.
and it's like if Brawlhalla does it well, I mean, we monopolize the whole thing in theory, I would guess, right?
I mean, wait,
Yeah.
Fortnite's on every single console, right? Are your accounts linked in
Well,
that?
I'm talking about like
No,
like
yeah,
people who are
but this is just
interested in,
like-
a fighting game on their
Yeah,
phone.
I'm just saying this for like the linking thing. Like, are you using a separate
Oh.
Fortnite account on every single console? Because that game's way bigger,
I
right?
don't know.
But yeah, that's mobile. I like I said, we'll see how that performs. I'm actually so curious.
It's gonna perform well.
I'm
I can't
super
even
curious.
I can't even
It's
discuss it.
It's gonna be
pop
good,
off.
if not insane.
It's just
Yeah.
it's just an extra thing. It's like, and that's the thing that we never realized about like the platforms, like all the
Mhm.
platform, because the growth that we have is actually mainly PlayStation. Obviously, Xbox is also pretty big, but as we saw, 2018 it was like we had like 700,000 players, something like that, and then 2019 when we had every and all these platforms, 3.5, and then it took less another year till now, and the year's not even over. We now have 7.5, so we're like it's just straight up doubled because of it's on so many platforms, and then you can just play it wherever
Right.
you want. So that's like really boomed it. And then now mobile is just an extra thing. Android and iOS, that's just two new extra ways of playing Brawlhalla. 10 million probably, 15 million next year. We don't know, but it's just more things.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
Yeah.
they talked about esports rule updates. Actually, no, they actually talked about like more
The-
development discussion. They like told us about.
Yeah, I don't
They
know.
said that they're gonna start talking about things. Could you
Yeah, I think that can't development discussion. I don't know what that means. I didn't like listen for that. So if you remember what that means, development
Yeah,
discussion.
I do.
Okay.
Middle East
devel-
servers was one of the things they brought
Right.
up, didn't they?
Yeah.
Development discussion was actually just them talking about some things and what they're doing, and then mostly talking about that they're going to bring it back to like talking about stuff that they're working on and going on for the future.
Mhm.
Not as crazy as they did in the past to give like deadlines and stuff, I think,
Yeah.
because that was one of their mistakes that they didn't want to do ever again. But it seems like they're like, we want to let you guys know what we're actually doing
Right.
more and like let you guys in a bit more and stuff.
Mhm.
So when it came to, they talked about Middle Eastern servers. They said we don't see a reason why we shouldn't. We'll see when we can get that done. We're looking at it, and Middle Eastern servers should be coming. But I don't. They don't. They said no date. They said nothing. But they said they're looking at it now.
Mhm.
That was essentially the
Yeah.
TLDR.
That's one of the
of
like
that.
hopes and dreams. One of the things that they would like to do.
Well,
I think
no,
it's
no, no,
deserving
no.
region. Really?
I don't think it was hopes and dreams. I think they said they should be able to do it. Hopes and dreams to me sounds like we want PS4 crossplay in 2016, and then it came in 2019. I think this is more like, if it's possible, we'll just do it within like the year or whatnot. That's what it sounded. That the way they phrased
Right.
it, that's what it sounded to me.
Mhm.
But that was like development. They were just talking about like stuff like that. Then esports rule updates came out. That one was interesting.
Yeah. I was about to mention that. So obviously, they just they updated player conduct. They updated off the top of my head rule set, as in modding and stuff like that. Now you are only allowed to change the backgrounds on your maps, and that includes small stuff like taking the trees off Demon Island, which you can do. You can now not do. So you can only edit the background of your map. You can't use map skins, which was another big modding thing.
Yep.
You can't. There's no jump mod. There's no skin crossover mods for you. You edit the background to blur it or to make whatever you want, and that is all you get.
Yeah.
And that is I mean, let's be real here. They can't do anything if you do because they can't know. But it's good that there is an official statement.
They can. There is ways to actually check integrity of files. By the way,
I
it's
mean,
actually possible.
Why
But,
would they check your files? What I'm saying like they have no heat on you.
That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing to an
I mean,
extent, I would say, right?
You could do stuff like, oh, this is the top 32 of players right now. Check
So,
them all out.
Check them all out. See how they got here.
That's a
It's
good
not
point.
like. It's not like I don't know if it's possible for them to do it right now because they need to like verify integrity of files live. There's like maybe something else that might be added that you have to do, but you can verify how what someone's playing with in real time. Other games do that. Some games do it through anti-cheat, as an example.
Yeah.
And then other games just do it through like they have this thing that allows them to do. I don't want to go too much into details of it, but it's not like they can't actually figure it out. By the way,
it just feels like a bit of an honor system right now.
Right now, I would have to say yes. It kind of sounds like it. They also specifically said this is all for competitive only tournaments.
Yeah.
You can use whatever mod you want actually outside of competitive within like limits. They didn't like condone modding or anything, but they said like it's just competitive.
Yeah.
If you use mods and we figure it out, you're doomed.
Yeah.
I don't know what doomed means.
Well, yeah, they weren't really clear on the punishment, which I don't know how I feel. Like I feel like they should have said what it was, because
BMG
I think
is
it's just a quick stance.
BMG
Just a quick
is
stance,
like
response
gone
is letting us know.
from low end of punishment for tournaments to high end. Like they've banned Boomie from one tournament, and he still got paid for the tournament he did the thing in. So LDZ's lost an entire flight. So like every
got it back.
Yeah, and got it back. Well, I mean he didn't do anything, so it makes sense why he got it back. But
The
point is, if he did do something, he was going to lose his entire flight. So
Wilson, I feel like, is a big one.
That one was just weird, and we actually
It was very
feel like I
strange.
got buried. I don't think a scenario like that would ever be accepted ever again. You know, I was like super like just we weren't ready for it at the time, and then no one wanted to do anything about it. It seemed like, but
it just makes me question though how hard they're gonna hit people, because it seems like I really feel like we have yet to see. Yeah, we don't know. We have yet to see. If for past things, obviously they're not the equivalent to the modding stuff, but it just makes me wonder. Like, okay, you know, as Wilson was Smurfed and Attorney was banned from
that one was like it's really weird. That one, I think it got banned
yeah.
from all Brawl League tournaments or something like that forever.
Okay.
But he still was allowed to compete in like
other, and then like with the
tournaments.
LDZ one, how his flight was like, oh, you're not getting it, and then they're like, oh, okay, here.
Yeah, that was just. But that one I'm gonna ignore because that was just like rules.
That
like,
literally
they
doesn't
tried
count.
to enforce the rules, but it was like in a poor way, and it was not the correct scenario. I think the only realistic one that, or like Machete maybe, the only realistic scenario we've had so far was definitely the Passive Venus scenario with Wilson, where he smurfed the tournament. That one was vague. I'm curious what would happen if someone ever did that again. I'm hoping that's just a perm ban.
Did anything happen besides him getting removed from the Brawl League bracket completely?
I don't think so. Maybe like a Stern talking. I don't think anything, no.
Okay. Interesting.
But like, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. The modding thing was a bit unfortunate because I feel like they kind of missed out the fact that there was one more thing that they had to touch upon. It's the fact that like Demon Island 3, that's actually the stage itself. That's not the background. We can't.
Oh yeah.
Like, what do we do about that one? That actually struggles a bit. People. The tree itself actually is a problem for the color, so you can't mod that anymore. And now, okay.
I mean, if you wear glasses, I'm counter picking Demon Island against you. It's just how it is. I'm sorry.
But I'm happy that they addressed that. You can still background blur though. That was.
Yeah.
I like that, but that also makes it that like, okay, now modding just became really ambiguous again, because okay, so we can mod, and we're not.
Someone's gonna find something.
Not even that. It's more like just allowing modding in general means so that okay, it's not a straight ban if we just even touch the files. There's no like hard limitation on touching the files. People are still gonna do it because who's gonna like you said, it's an honor system, and then we need to like see. Are they going to actually check files and verify stuff, or like are they going to add a system for it, or is there even a system for it? We don't know. So I'm curious. We'll see what happens. I know a lot of people are annoyed about like vague responses. It's better than no response, but
Obviously,
big responses are also a bit problematic to a certain extent because,
Well, it's like how much do they solve, really?
it just feels terrible. Like you'd never want to feel that someone else is doing something that you're not allowed to do because you're now honoring a rule that you might not actually have to honor.
Yeah.
You know, that one feels bad because all of us will honor it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to risk. But who's to say Stingray doesn't care about it, right?
But
Right,
no,
just-
Outside of that, they also did like some esports conduct. I think on the ruling update, they were talking about like that they will.
rulings, Yeah. Just like how
They will
players
hand out
carry
more bans on
themselves.
like bad behavior.
Yep. Account sharing, stuff like that. Just a lot of
Yeah.
stuff was mentioned in the rules, and it's just like, and it's good. It's just good stuff.
Right.
Obviously,
That one
it brings more.
yeah.
It brings it more to the foreground. More people will know about these things and can do these things. But I think it's just better to have a statement on it, even though you risk the chance of more people doing it now. It's important to have statements on things like this. So it's just a good thing.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see where I just hope they really do figure out a way of actually just banning people for and like genuinely punishing people for breaking rules because it's almost never happened. We actually like almost have never had it happen. It's always been like something private or something that no one else knows about, and maybe never happened again. But we've never actually figured out if there's actual real like. But it seems like they really want to take a stance against it. At least that's what it sounded like. It sounded like they genuinely want to now like, all right. No more silly stuff. If we're gonna figure out a way to like deal with it.
With this, okay, it's a little bit of a throwback. When Cody flipped off Ethan,
Yeah.
not to bring past incidents, but
Evil man.
in a different like league, say I don't know, in league for example, what would happen if a player did that?
Warning and money fine. They have like a million different conduct rules, and it depends on was it IRL, was it in game, was it this, was it that. There's like actually a ton of it, and then like a lot of it is also like personal judgment as well on top of that. So like they have the enforced rules, and they also have the like a little bit they can take leeway of like appropriate punishment. It's not like hard. The rules aren't like set in stone. They just interpret them a bit as well. Yeah. But in something like League, if a player would just flip someone off, it's more like not sportsmanlike, and it's rude professional athlete behavior. So all would happen at that point would be just a fine, which is like a normal like sports type of thing, and some sort of warning, like you're gonna be on a warning system. If you do it again, way bigger punishment than just a fine. Does that make sense? Yeah. But that would mostly probably be a fine. In some scenarios, if it's something like, now it's a bit debatable because at least in the past, if it's something racist, it would be more like they would literally just make you're not allowed to play for X amount of games straight up, plus a fine as well, and like a huge warning on top of that. If anything even remotely happens again, goodbye to your career. Nowadays, I'm actually not sure because we as a society we're cracking down even harder on these things because it's just unacceptable. Like, why are you even entertaining the thought, right? So nowadays, I'm not actually sure if like something like very racist would happen. If that would just be a simple, the guy's not allowed to play. The guy's not allowed to play for X amount of games, and the guy is not, and the guy gets a fine. Now it might be just be like goodbye to your career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see it happening now. For and the punishment being you can't play X amount of games, especially now with what's going on in the world. I can just see you say something stupid and then it's GG's for you, and it's already happened in other fighting games. Like I think it was Street Fighter. The guy got banned for
Capcom.
Capcom. The guy got banned from events for being transphobic, even though he said it was just like back-to-back beef that he already had.
Which is completely fine, man.
It's just like it's just that's what's gonna happen, and it's fine. You can't do anything about that. It's stupid. Don't be stupid.
Community behavior stuff that is like not flipping off someone, because that's different. That's like not in the same realm. But transphobia, homophobia, racism, like stuff that goes around those things, just get it out. You know what I mean? Like just out. It's completely different. So
like there's and like basically it's clear what Diakou's saying. Like there's community beef and there's drama and there's a middle finger to your friend or to your something you
Right.
don't like,
Right.
and then there's that stuff, and that stuff's just not the same thing. It's just you
Yep.
can't do that. So.
Yeah.
From there on, community tournament initiative. I don't remember what that was actually.
So
talked about
apparently,
Paper Fairy.
Paper Fairy is, I don't know if he's
Yeah.
BMG, but he works for BMG now.
think he is.
So
Maybe a contractor or something like that.
yeah,
It's possible as well.
he handles a specific email community at BMG or something. That's not, don't quote me on that. But BMG's going to be helping people that want to push their own community tournaments and community lands and events like that. So you're going to see. I don't know if you're going to actually see more, but the goal is for you to see more, and the goal is for
Regional tournaments and stuff.
yeah, stuff to come up that isn't BMG, stuff to people to do their own things, and that's fine. BM. So he's with Smash GG and
Contract.
BMG,
It's a contractor. That's what it is basically. Okay, so I see what. Okay, so basically they appointed an entire person for like community community tournament relations essentially. So like anything from like maybe funding probably if the tournament gets big enough or like the scene gets big enough and he's now dealing with that, or like helping them figure out how to do stuff, like probably like everything you need for a community tournament. Now they have a guy that just specifically helps out with that as a job.
Right. Not to mention, I know if COVID wasn't a thing, like it would also be applying to like helping, I think, organizers and stuff like actually do more community like in person tournaments.
That's the biggest goal. You want to do an in-person tournament, you message the email, which is Paper Fairy, and he tells you what you need to do, the best way to run it, how to help you, stuff like that. And I think that's the goal, and that's
super cool.
That's just a good thing.
I think it's great. I mean, Paper Fairy has been helping for a super long time. Might as well have been part of Brawlhalla now. So it makes me glad to see that he's actually like, okay, he's one of ours for at least the time being. And I mean, if you guys haven't like had any interaction with Paper Fairy, super awesome guy. Yeah. Does his job really, really well. I mean, I don't know how long he's been running brackets in the FGC, but it's 10 years plus.
Yeah, I think so. I generally think so.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I mean, I'm happy for him. I think it's
okay. We saved him from the Smash scene. So
get Paper Fairy. When I think about it, like the way we could have gotten so many other, obviously other deals are good, but Paper Fairy actually seemed to be a guy that like actually went a bit into like maybe not the game itself, but like the community. He really wanted to get to know every single person, wanted to know how things are run. He always took suggestions from people. He's like one of the reasons why we even started getting best of fives at lands before like X amount.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there was a time like B6 was like, until top 8 it wasn't top 16. I don't know. Until then it wasn't the best of 5.
Yeah.
Paper Fairy was essentially the reason why everything became best of 5, and like how a lot of like the bigger reasons he was the one that essentially helped Brawlhalla figure out to do. And yeah, just dude, it's hard to explain, but I generally believe we lucked out on Paper Fairy as being our like FGC TO that came into the community. So excited to see what happens with that. We're gonna move on though. Let's get close to like finishing this because it's getting really long. But I mean,
yeah, we're on 2 hours
that's
for this one.
I
mean, unless there's the hype leaks. Yeah, they're updating power rankings, but I don't think. Is there anything on that? It's just another telling you that power rankings will be out again, and we can't really speak on those, so we actually see them. Cody's PR'd one, obviously. So
for pro players, whoever cares, they're gonna figure out how to make payouts a lot better and faster and easier and whatnot.
That's
no more information about that. That was just it.
Yeah.
And moving on from there, it was just they had a charity stream this Friday. They actually hit their goal. It was like 10,000 something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy.
I don't know if it was the goal itself was 10,000 or they had like the little like goal. Oh, we're matching. They said they were matching up to 10,000. Okay. So I don't know where they landed within that, and then they matched it, and then they reached the 10,000, or if it was like they actually hit 10,000 and then it was like doubled.
I mean,
so they didn't say the actual amount.
I didn't see the goal, but I saw that they hit 10,000, and that's good. So I have no clue what the goal actually was.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. From the other developer streams though, like the Tuesday one, the Friday one, I already mentioned it. Duke and Sheepy came on and explained that like, yo, we will be able to see Dinohedron again in the future. He will explain more about like the development and what they're actually moving forward with, like in a bigger, broader term. So essentially, besides BMG, you're actually responding to a lot of smaller things that people like Boomie or Wrench were talking about and wanted answers for, they also just did the thing where like they're starting to now talk with the community again and like have developers come on and explain things. And we got a really good glimpse of that with how Foda did things. We got a good glimpse of that with how Duke and Sheepy were talking about Greatsword, and we got a good glimpse of, on that on when Derailed came on Friday to like really explain how long they've been working on it, how he did it, how like went into details, and it felt amazing. Like I generally just in 1 week, it felt like we are not talking to BMG again. I don't know. It was really weird.
If you were here back in like 2016, you saw this was like what was normal to us. Like you'd see a new weapon coming out, Derailed comes on and shows it to you, or new character Sigs, and you'd see Dino literally like every stream. It was good, and it'd be good to have it back. Like I'm not even saying that we need it back, but it's just like I just want to see them all again. It'd be good, so I'd be happy with it.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have anything more to say personally. I think we went through everything unless you guys have something else.
No, I think we're kind of drawing near an end here unless Phazon has anything he wants to say on any of the points. But yeah, basically
personalities come out and want to talk.
Funny. I mean, as far as what they covered in the dev stream, I think that's like probably one of the, at least if you're a competitive player, you know, that stream overall, I think reinvigorated a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you know, the hope is that the trend continues, which personally, like, I feel like BMG does a solid job at keeping their word. So, you know, I think we should be expecting a lot of big things, but you know, here's the hoping, I guess. But you know, obviously people want to see stuff in place. Like you can only hope for so long before you're like, okay,
right,
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it myself as well. I was like, I'm not here to say that I'm making excuses for them, whatnot. If they don't actually come out, like let's say mobile releases, within the next 6 months of mobile releasing, if I don't see stuff happening, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I'm gonna lose hope. Then,
yeah,
like,
I get you.
It's not like they are like free from any responsibility, but I really do believe them when they said that, like, they wanted to do so much, but they just could not because of the consoles and crossplay and all that stuff that happened. So we'll see. And honestly, so far, I'm even just now, and we haven't like seen a lot too much. The battle pass happened, cool. That's helped a lot of casuals. We got Greatsword, cool. Esports viewership rewards, cool. We're not talking to the developers again, cool. All of that within like a short month or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm really reinvigorated. We'll see where this goes. And honestly, even if I'm not, I'm gonna become a YouTuber. I'm gonna become a content creator. It don't matter because our YouTube is booming. That's all I'm saying. Like I got 8,000 views on my video. I have like 700 subs. I had like 400 the other day. I know these other guys in here are like million subs. You guys aren't cool. Whatever. I'm gonna beat you all soon. What I'm trying to say is that honestly, this game, I don't see it ever like not growing, or at least even if it stabilizes around here, it's a good spot. Like we're in an amazing spot.
As far as the next couple years, like it's looking like
we're looking up. So
minimum 3-5 years. Like I really don't see it
slowing pace.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's good. All right. Just to reiterate, Sandstorm, Ethan, big things. Look forward to them. Low tier city coming up. Steel series. You're gonna see them both of those. And the rest of the new teams and all that good stuff. So NA2's big boom right there. And next we got new weapon, Greatsword. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Not much to say about that. Wait till we play it, and then we'll back with another R&D, and we're gonna tell you what we think about it now that's out. But we're excited for it, obviously, as we stated. And then BMG coming back up with us, and you gotta love BMG. Even when everything's falling apart, they're there to tell you that it'll be okay. Sorry, we'll let you down, but we're here. All right. So yeah, we want to thank Phazon for being here on with us. Make sure you follow him on his Twitch channel, just Phazon, and his Twitter, Phazon VR. It was fun, and I'll be glad to have you back whenever you're ready to ditch Cody. It's not much. I'm always here for you.
Oh, that's what you meant by having.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Like,
no, on here, never that. No.
Because I was like, yeah, I think you're not one of the people I definitely want to have back. Like, you know, with this guy, okay, right. shooting. Imagine shooting your shot during a podcast, like whatever. You're still cool.
It's fine. You already know Diakou, half of the R&D. He's the D in R&D. And well, if you're here, you know me. I'm not even gonna plug myself again. It's getting kind of old, isn't it? How amazing I am, and how everyone already knows. And I'm still telling them. It makes no sense. But yeah, that's it for this week's R&D. Once again, Phazon, cool guy. Follow him on everything, socials. He has a YouTube channel, and he's doing it up over there. So
It's actually popping up here.
I don't know how people watch it, but they do somehow. So go watch it too, and you come back and tell me how they do it. All right. But yeah, any last words from you, Vinny?
No, not really.
All right.
Then that's it.
And Diakou is wrapping up too. Thank you all for coming to episode 3. We're gonna see you Thursday sharp. Promise no more delays. I'm gonna take it back. That promise because I'm a delay magnet. And yeah, maybe not Thursday.
I was about to say.
We'll be back. We'll be back. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And that's R&D. All right, you guys.